Happy Friday.
Ho, ho, ho! It's Saint Nick, predictor of all things jolly, flying in after a very busy couple of
Straight
days
from the North
around the
Pole.
world. Man, Miss Sweetest Fish, flew over your motherland. I said hello to everybody.
Thank you for doing that.
Very friendly.
I appreciate the warm wishes. That's good.
All right,
Well,
our final marketing qualified rundown of 2024.
I cannot believe it's 2025. You know what? The best one good part about this time of year is that you can tell people like, see you next year. I just kind of love doing that, but I can't believe it's 2025 next week. It's
crazy. It's crazy. What a year it has been. So this episode, and for those who read the newsletter already, we're going to go through our 2025 marketing predictions, what we got right, which is pretty good, and what we got wrong.
Yep.
And where we see actually 2024 and then 2025, where we see things going.
Yes. I loved reading this because, I mean, obviously I read it last year too, and there were some things that I did not fully believe in, but it was pretty cool to see what happened.
It is a crazy world we live in. So, all right, we are jolly. We're holiday festive. So let's get right into it. So, all right, what we got right in 2024. All right, content gets less formal, just like us.
Like Santa Claus flying in from the North Pole during a LinkedIn Live for B2B marketers. Yeah, I would say that that's less formal.
Less formal, yeah. I think, I mean, and obviously, if you read it, if people are listening, I mean, LinkedIn definitely has gotten way more casual, less of the formal, a lot of the formality that was out there. And I think the conversational tone has been great, right? That's definitely a huge thing that's, I think, of value that we called it and we got it right.
Yes. Yeah, I support that one. More of that. Continue.
All right, number 2. What was number 2 we got right?
The point of view becomes crucial. And I think that in the age of AI, definitely stood out because now everyone can use AI and ChatGPT or Claude, whatever it is, to generate content, but they can't be you. So
you're the queen of having a POV.
I was very strong. I have a post coming out later today with a very strong one. I got a little heated this morning, but yes.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one that definitely we predicted and it came true, which is, and I think have a point of view. Don't just go along with the crowd. Have a point of view, and that's what people want. Personal anecdotes, like you've done with both just personally on your LinkedIn and also on Partner Science. So I think having that, again, no surprise.
Nope. Number 3.
Ooh.
This one I was skeptical about when I read it last year, but the rise of B2B influencer. I did not think that we were quite there yet, but
no. Oh, you skipped one. Wait, B2B embraces the user generated content.
Oh,
yeah. So this was, I think we were definitely a little bit early on this prediction. The user generated content, I think, not quite there yet. Not like really on the B2C side, but
it's coming.
I think it's coming. And I think the more that there's the AI avatars, things like that, I think that that'll be there. But we're a little early. We're a little early on the B2B side. So I think we'll take the hit on that one. We didn't get it right. So
I think people are a little too scared to embrace this one, but it's coming. I think so.
All right, number 4.
Okay. Now. Rise of B2B influencers. That is, just go on LinkedIn now. Just scroll through the feed. It's all over. And many people that I talked to, or many companies that have actually embraced this, they've seen some incredible success actually leaning into this a lot more.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, again, you're a great example of this, of what we've done within our company, which is having people that represent the business and having personal brands that are associated with the business. And I think, from whether it be people that have jumped out in AI, people that are advocates for HubSpot, Salesforce, there's a lot of people in IT tech. We know some people, obviously, that are customers and friends, that they have massive personalities, that they're way bigger than actually the company's brand. And that has helped them really be an influencer in the B2B space.
And if you haven't already leaned into this, it's not too late. Just do it.
It's not too late. You just have to have a personality, and that goes a long way, you know.
Mhm.
All right, number 5, zero-click content takes over.
Thank God this one happened. I would get so, I mean, it's still on LinkedIn that people are just popping links in there and barely say anything.
Yeah.
Or just a summary of whatever is in that post or link. But yeah, it's not much of that anymore. It's totally zero click.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, people just don't have the patience. Like, I mean, if I get shot somewhere else, I'm like, I'm out. It's not gonna do it.
I mean, less friction, always.
Less friction, yeah. Always have less friction. All right, number 7, anti-AI companies emerge. This is hilarious. We obviously we lean in heavily to AI, but you knew this was coming.
Although, I mean, there's a good point here too that I think a lot of, I'm not going to say everyone, but I think a lot of companies are trying to lean into this to be different, but are still kind of using AI.
I agree. I mean, I think this is, when I think about the 100%, human made versus AI, I think of like, made in America, or there's something about, milk, or things that are just products that you're trying to get it back to something else. It's like, I mean, it's a bit of a shtick, but I think at the end of the day, if you flat out ignore AI, you're going to get left behind anyway. So
you're pretty stupid too. Let's just put it out there. You got it.
My prediction is, if you completely put your head in the ground and you ignore AI, you will fall behind next year. Yes. So from a marketing perspective,
well, I think there's more to that than marketing, but yes.
Yeah. All right, number 8, our last one of our predictions for 2024.
I actually couldn't remember that we predicted this one. The decentralized SEO becomes the norm.
Yeah.
Were you on this train too?
Yeah, I was 50-50 on this one. I did think this was going to happen. I think that the whole AI search functionality, I think that's thrown a lot of this. And I'm on a personal level, I think SEO, I mean, if I was an SEO an expert and did this for that's all I did for a living,
I would look at something else.
I would probably look for another career. Now a lot of people say, "Oh, don't be a hater," but I just think there's too much content. There's too many other things out there. It's really, really hard to win the SEO battle with so many different platforms and different ways to search. So I think that's just really tough. So
I think there might be something there yet that hasn't really emerged. I don't know what it is or what that potentially might look like or the outcome, but there's something in the SEO. SEO is not dead, but they're going to have to reinvent it somehow. And maybe that's in 25, I don't know. But whatever the reinvention that they come up with, the experts in this field, it's going to be mind blowing.
I mean, we didn't put it in writing, but we had a bet. Remember that, I mean, how do you, which is, I think is happening, how do you basically try to manipulate, or how do you get search priority within the AI engines, right? Like in the large language models, and how do you do that? I think that's where it's going to go. It's just a much harder thing to do. But we'll see.
Prompted for ChatGPT to become your primary search engine, because I accidentally turned that on and it drove me nuts. Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening. All right. So if you're keeping score of our 8 predictions of 2024, the Marketing Qualified team got 5 right and 2 we'll see. So not bad for a bunch of marketers that do this for our day job. So anyway, let's jump into 2025. What the hell do we think is going to happen? Let me get the crystal ball and the crystal magical Santa hat. He's my magic from the North Pole. Number 1.
Death.
The
death of good enough content. And this kind of ties into what we mentioned a little bit on the point of view from this year. But it's the same thing, like with AI, where you can replicate, produce, write, you can do everything so quickly, and everyone can do that. The only way to stand out is going to be unique. You got to still be a human.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's you just have to niche down. I mean, I think you can still use AI, you can still use
Yeah.
these tools. I think you just have to niche down to be much more specific. And I think the long form content is not as, I mean, it's harder to read, but so I think you can still have amazing case studies and use cases and blogs, but just niche down, be more specific. So, all right, number 2 prediction for 2025.
AI.
The rise of
And
AI agents.
I did pop this in here because we were talking about them.
Yeah, so if you aren't familiar with AI agents, there's a lot of people out there talking about these, lots of people using them. So if you remember chatbots from, think about chatbots on steroids is how I think about it. Like these AI agents, these tools basically can answer questions, they can write responses, they can launch ad campaigns, they can do all these things. They basically, which I think is scary for a lot of people, is it does replace people. Like you don't need you can reduce staffing if you've figured out how to master AI agents. There's been a lot of talk in different podcasts of the $1 billion company with 1 employee. Like that's not possible, right? Because you have these tools now that can really replace employees for functions that they don't require necessarily upfront human intervention. That doesn't mean you don't have to have humans. You just need to have, pick and choose what you're going to use. So I think the rise of AI agents.
Yeah, it's there. It's a tad bit scary, but it doesn't have to be. If you lean into it and just learn it, it can be so powerful instead.
Yeah, and I think it's always the idea of like do the things that you're really good at and versus the things that maybe you're not as good at, and have these agents, have them follow up on emails, have them monitor ad performance, have them analyze things so that you can make the decisions with that data, make more intelligent decisions. So I'm a huge believer in this. I think this will definitely change the face of not just marketing. This will change the face of business.
100%. Okay, number 3. This one is fun. Emails come back again.
I think call me a was Ice Cube. They call me a comeback. It was the comeback. Was that song?
Yeah. I mean, we've heard many times over and over again that email is dead. It's like email marketing. It's not. It never died. It never will. You just get smarter with how you use it, because that's the problem right now. I mean, we've done a lot of talk on emails, and every time we put something out, we realize the next episode we're kind of late to the game and it's changing again. So things are changing quickly. It's getting harder and harder to reach your audience that you're sending to. But at the end of the day, this is the only way right now that you truly own your audience. Yeah. And that will always be the powerhouse, because the thing that you put out on LinkedIn or social platforms, that's not yours. I mean, it's yours, but anyone can pull it away from you immediately.
Yeah.
So
I think the key with the email, I mean, you're right. Everybody always says email's dead. It's just not dying. No. But I do think you have to get smarter, right? I mean, you have to have more personalized sequences. You have to be more interactive. You got to be niche down. You have to really drive value. It just can't be the same, because there's too many filters, right? Whether it be secure endpoint security protections that are blocking it from even reaching you, to tools like AI tools within email, tools like Gmail, Outlook, Superhuman, that actually filter all the crap out. So there's a lot of barriers, but it's not going away.
Yeah, I agree. Watch out, AI agents, they'll sort your inbox for you.
Now, this next one, I hope this is really, I hope our prediction's true, which is the end of vanity metrics. Because as a marketer, obviously, we sometimes get very tired of some of these just metrics that, like, they're what we have and they are leading indicators, but man, whether it's likes, shares, impressions, they're hard to really translate into true attribution, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with the terms like CAC, that's not me coughing up a hairball, that's customer acquisition cost, or customer lifetime value, CLV, things like that. Like, those are important metrics that now, with the technology and with these platforms, we're able to get a lot more to help true attribution. So I
The
think it's
only
a good
thing
thing.
that worries me about this that a lot of times marketers are asked for instant results, like instant numbers. Like you launch something today and tomorrow someone is expecting you to report back on that. Like a customer lifetime value or like customer acquisition, like it takes time. It's not just a 1 month whatever campaign you're running and you can report back on a positive outcome in these numbers. So I hope that also kind of falls with this trend.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I would say any true marketer that we've worked with understands at least on the B2B side, not the B2C side, but B2B, that it's a journey. It's
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's not about instant gratification, despite what I think everybody wants. So, all right, we have a few more predictions. Number 5. This one I find I'm 50-50 on this prediction. So buying committees will get even bigger. So what this means basically is that it used to be when you're trying to get somebody to buy from you in the B2B space, it's 1 or 2 decision makers. Now some of the research indicates that that's going to be even bigger. And so now you're going to have more people involved. So it's actually the buying cycle is going to get even more complex, which means now you have to have content from let's just say it's the the marketing manager, or now it's the CFO, or it's the CTO, or you have all these different people you now have to try to convince with marketing, which is,
I kind of hope not.
If that's the case, man, yeah, it's everybody may stick a little bit more money in the marketing budget stocking. So
yeah, that one will be hard. So yeah, I don't know what I think about that one. I kind of don't want it, but
yeah, I think it probably will happen, but I'm 50-50 whether I want it to. So, all right, number 6, what do we got?
Product marketing becomes everyone's job.
Hasn't it always been?
I mean, it should have, but it's not. But yeah, the lines between the product marketers and product and marketing becomes more and more blurry, and collaboration is now essential. And that should have just always been there, but maybe people are just finally realizing that.
Yeah, as a former product guy myself, so I remember being in a product organization having marketing, and there was always a lot of consternation of fighting back and forth. And I think that in 2024, 2025, like that's gone. Like if you truly believe you're on an island as a product, you are sadly mistaken. So,
and that goes for like looking at us as an agency when we support different clients, and they all have different products, different solutions, they're different companies. If we don't understand who they are, what they do, and who they serve, like to the core, like they do, we can't do good marketing for them.
No, not at all. All right, so the last prediction, which I 100% think this will happen, and I think it has already happened because I see it today, but I think it will explode like present on Christmas Day. The rise of small social. So if anybody listening or reading this if they are not on Discord, they're not on Slack, they're not on Reddit, they're not on these other platforms or Substacks, like you guys are missing out. I just think that the audience, because there's so much noise out there, all these smaller niche private communities, like I'm in some of these things, like that's where these conversations are happening. And that's where people are asking for referrals, and they're asking for details and opinions. And if you just stick to the old school ways of doing things, then you probably are missing out.
This one is a good example of quality over quantity. People need to get out of their head that they need to send an email to like 20,000 people. If you send it to 50 people and they are the right people, way better.
Yeah. I mean, this actually made me think about, this was 7-8 years ago when, we talked to certain large B2B customers, and they're like, well, we're never going to get on Facebook because that's not business to business. And we laughed and we're like, yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing, but fast forward to different platforms. Like people, it doesn't matter if you're in business or not, you're on these platforms on a personal level, even as a professional. So like, if you think that your business customer is not on Discord, or they're not in a subreddit, or they're not in a Slack group talking about stuff, then you are sadly mistaken. So they are there. That is where they live. They don't just sit out on Google or Facebook or anything else like that. So,
and they're all in different groups.
They're all in different groups.
We can't just do
it harder.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good one. Yes.
All right. Well, that's it. Those are our predictions for 2025. Well, Ms. Via's Fish, it's been great. We've had a lot of fun on our Marketing Qualified Rundown every week, and man, I don't know what we're gonna do next year. We're gonna have to dial it up to 11.
I mean, it's gonna be even bolder and bigger and better. The 3 Bs. That's what we're gonna do.
Bolder, bigger, better. All right, I think that's a great way to end it, and I'll take it this time. So if you don't subscribe, you can obviously go out to marketingqualified.co. And we have over 100 newsletters out there for you can go back and research and read and enjoy. And we also have, if you don't subscribe, we have another newsletter that is related to this called Partner Science, and that is partnerscience.tech. And lots of fun things. If you didn't look at it this week, I did the exercise. It's a timed exercise I highly recommend everybody do about partners and partnerships. And on behalf of all of us at Marketing Qualified, Real Access, and the North Pole, we wish you a very merry and happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we will see you next year.